Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Natalie Levin Astrology. It is, actually, I don't know what day it is. Oh, it's February 27th. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2020. And you might hear, because Saturn and Pluto are both in Capricorn, I am having my own personal Saturn and Pluto. Pluto is destruction and Saturn is hard work, and we are having actual construction on our house. So you might hear some banging around. And I wanted to let you know today what's happening. I invite you to know that this weekend is going to be probably a little wackier than it already has been. And I'll tell you more about that. But today, what is happening right this moment is Venus is conjunct at exactly the same degree. That's 22 degrees of the moon. The moon and Venus are exactly together in Aries right now. So what that says to me is right off the bat that we can think about possibly our inner worlds. The moon is our inner world. Venus is how we relate to love, how we relate to things we value. Think about, in our society, we call it money, but you might call it something else. It also is, when the moon and Venus are together, my imagination is that issues about and feelings about relationships in romance, and also to money, and how do we value money? What does it look like to us to value money? And if it's in Aries, it's feeling very primal. It's feeling very at the root of our beings. These are not like light and airy esoteric thoughts. These are probably emotions and feelings that are coming up that feel very based possibly on a sense of security, a sense of fight or flight. So I'm imagining that might be coming up for you. And then we throw in the fact that those two planets, the moon and Venus, are being sort of squished, let's say squished in a square, like they're being compressed in a square between Pluto, which is the god of death and transformation and alchemical processes and bullying, power. And so they're being our relationship to money and our relationship to how we feel about that in our inner world in a very primal sense is being asked to, like, do we feel bullied about how we make money? Do I feel forced to make money in a certain way in this particular society because Pluto is in Capricorn, and that structure, it's the structure of our society, it's the structure of how we do our daily lives. And when it's next to Jupiter is on the other side of those two planets, the square aspect. Jupiter is more, it's ebullience, it's also abundance, it's too much, it's excess. So we might be feeling as a collective over the top emotions today, like beyond the beyond. And we might be feeling because I feel like it could feel very volatile today, more than usual in this time. So with that knowledge, again, I usually invite you to do this, and I would say it again today, to not make decisions out of a place of feeling. If you're making decisions, could you be able to step back and take enough time to not make them out of a place of fear, out of a fear of lack, out of a scarcity mentality? Can you remember that we are souls having a human experience right now? What is it like first, for whatever reason, our souls chose to incarnate right here on planet Earth at this time for this experience. And instead of lashing out, if you feel like you were going to lash out at a loved one or have some sort of a panic over money, maybe you can wait and 1 or 2 or even 5 minutes before responding or reacting, and see what more is revealed as you wait, and see if the heat of the feelings cools off a little bit, because then you will have had the experience of wanting to act out an impulse and not actually having done it. And that can be corrective. That can be helpful to remember, oh, I actually have a choice here. We also have this very interesting situation of Mars, who is sitting across from our collective north node. So, and he's sitting on our collective south node. So Mars is the planet of impulse, anger, aggression, war, and he is sitting on our collective destiny and also our collective karma. So in addition to the fact that, I mean, collectively you can see a lot of anger being rising up and fear of war, warring aspects. In addition to that, Mars is also out of bounds. That's a term. You can hear the Pluto and Saturn conjunction in my house right now. And Pluto and Saturn Mars out of bounds, it can be like we might have some sort of a really exciting happening collectively today. Like, and Anne Orderly describes it this way. I love how she describes it. Out of bounds planets, when they come, it's sort of like, let's pretend, we'll talk about the Yankees, Derek Jeter hits the ball really hard. And it can either be an incredible, the best and most amazing home run you've ever seen, or it could be a ball that hits someone in the stands and that person dies. That's the out of bounds energy. So we don't know how this is going to manifest as with Mars out of bounds. I would expect really even wackier news. And in addition to all of this, we have the tons of Neptunian energy. And with the Neptunian energy, Neptune is related to the idea of illness, sickness, porousness, permeability. It's in Pisces. So I'm not surprised that these stories about pandemics are up and that people are having, they don't know what to believe, what is true, what isn't true. And again, I want to invite you to know that with all of this, the sun is in Neptune, Mercury is in Neptune, and it's retrograde. So there's a lot of not knowing what the hell is going on. And my thought is that I invite us to keep living our lives, do the next right thing, one step at a time. And honestly, just throwing this out there, what I'm hearing from my people is there's always some sort of a pandemic that comes up when there's heavy Neptune transits, and they pass. So the planets are always moving. The pandemics are always going to move through. We are going to be okay. Our souls are having a human experience right now and experiencing the fear mongering that is going on in social media. I wonder what it would be like to perhaps go on a fast, even for like 6 hours, if going on a fast for a whole day from social media sounds too intense for you. I feel like it's a really great time to connect with nature and things that are beautiful about the Mother Earth with our collective North Node, our collective destiny, our collective life mission in Cancer. That's the mother energy. It's Mother Earth. So what is there that you could even take a walk outside for 5 minutes today? Is that possible for you? If you feel like you are interested in knowing more about how the planets interact with your personal chart, I invite you to contact me, and I'll put my email address underneath this video or on the title of it, and you can ask, and we could set up a session. I find it so helpful to know how the planets and how everything's interacting with my personal chart. And I also invite you to like and subscribe and share this video. Subscribe to the channel, my Natalie Levin Astrology channel. I think that's what I call it. And I'm so glad you're here with me. Thank you so much for choosing to incarnate at this time. It is a wild and woolly time to be human. Okay, I love you. I'm gonna stop.